Are we live? All right, we're live. Hi, guys.
Hello, hello, hello. I see we already have some visitors in. Um, Yvette, we are here. We made it. So thank you for being our first guest. We appreciate that. I think something's coming your way already. So you'll probably want to go ahead and put your email down in the chat section for being our first guest. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But without further ado, let me go ahead and get started with today's event. So, I am Tam from Tam Telling Tales, and tonight I bring to you the very first ever Read What Happens Live. We are being sponsored this evening by the lovely ladies of EyeCU Reading and Social Network, where I happen to be a member. And we also happen to have the president of the organization here with us on this evening, who's going to have a few words before we delve into the book. And then, of course, we have the Joan Vassar. Yay! I wish I knew how to do all the little extra applause and stuff, but I told you I'm super new at this. I don't know yet. But I'm really, really, really excited to have her. She has brought us such books as Black and Albert, The Uncaged Mind, Emancipating James, and then her most recent release, Anthony Unshackled. So she's going to be sharing some details about those with us on this evening. So, without further ado, I'd just like to have our president of EyeCU Reading and Social Network go ahead and just give you guys a couple of words.
All right. So, thank you guys for tuning in to Read What Happens Live with Tam Telling Tales and Joan Vassar. I'm Ebony Evans of ICU Reading and Social Network. I'm the founder and the president of the book club. ICU Reading is a sisterhood of 9 women who share a passion for reading, reviewing, and supporting the work of indie authors, Black indie authors. Um, we were set to bring Joan here and support her at Detroit Public Library this year, as well as National Book Club Conference, but due to COVID, that didn't happen. So we're bringing Joan to you. We met Joan around 4 years ago, where Joan was trying to fly up under the radar and not tell anybody that she was an author. But the Madu bookstore owner, she told us, and Tam bought her book a little bit out of pity. And then
It
we
wasn't pity. It wasn't pity. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
and we were moaning and groaning about having to read this slave book. Ugh. But this is what our baby girl is going to bring us. But baby, when we read that book, woo, when we read Black, the way that Jones' pen flows and the details and the sex scenes, bomb.com. And if you all read the book, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So without further ado, I give you our baby girl, Tam Telling Tales with Joan Vassar.
Oh, thank you, Ebony. Appreciate that. Let me just say this. I did not buy the book out of pity. Okay. I was just attempting to support a black author. Okay. So I don't know if that was the right word, but I mean she did look a little pitiful standing here. But either way, it don't matter. It don't matter. Everything about this book has been absolutely amazing for me. Anybody that knows me, that follows me, knows that I always rant and rave about the Black series. Like, if anybody is ever, oh, I'm looking for a good book to read, hands down, this will be the very first book that I tell them to read. Okay. So I want to tell you guys a little bit more about me. Then we're going to learn a little bit more about Joan. And then we're going to talk about these books. Okay. So, me. I recently started this YouTube channel within the last few months, and I would love for you guys to subscribe and come back and watch some videos with me because I plan on doing some more stuff like this. My channels are my they're a little different. Okay. So, although I may sometimes have some spoilers, I love to talk about how the book can relate to real world stuff. And then, sometimes I just have a little humor that I want to put behind what I need to say. And anybody who saw my very first, um, oh my goodness, my very first video, it was very raw. Okay. It was all out there. I didn't polished up myself and everything. I'm so proud, but I still love my very first video. So you guys go ahead, check it out. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell, and come back and enjoy some books and stuff with me. So next, we want to hear a little bit about Joan. So, ma'am, why don't you tell us, just a couple little things about yourself as an author?
So I'm Joan Vassar, and I think Tam actually did buy the book out of pity, because I was standing around saying, this is my book, And so she said, oh, well then, if it's your book, I'm going to definitely buy it. And then a year went by, and they contacted me and said, you're going to be our book of the month. Prior to that, I had actually written Black in 2000, and the title of it was Generations. But when I tried to shop it around, I got letters that said, well, this is not something that people would want to read. And so because of that, I put the manuscript in a box in my closet and moved it from place to place. And when my youngest child turned 18, I decided, you know what, maybe I'll give it a shot. So this year, Black is actually 20 years old.
Wow. That's a whole life. A whole grown adult.
Yes, it is.
And I am just not discovering it in 2016.
Right. Whew. But I actually worked on it, and then got it out to the masses. And the masses, I mean, was my 4 children and my mother. Because I'm independent. I did not think that it would. I think somewhere in my mind, I believed that no one would want to read it. So I have always considered myself a person that could write and would want to write. But I figured out early on that if you're saying that you're a writer, then you must be doing that thing. If you're not doing that thing, you're not that thing.
Awesome. Well, ma'am, we want to get to know even more about you. So I prepared a couple of little extra questions that I wanted to run by you and see if you wouldn't mind just telling us the answers.
Okay.
First things first, Joan, who is your favorite music artist?
Oh, wow. So DMX is my DMX is my favorite. And so when I get up in the morning, and before COVID, I would drive into work, and DMX would be the first person I would play.
Yes, DMX. Okay, so DMX is your favorite artist. I need you to rap some DMX. Can you do that for me, please, ma'am?
Y'all just put me all on the spot. Okay,
I'm ready.
I think the one I like most is "Get at Me, Dog."
And okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
What must I go through to show you shit is real? And that's how I feel. That's it. I got no more time. You want me to get up and spit some real
Listen, I was ready. I was about to go there with you. Yes. Yes, I was ready. Okay.
You, and that's it.
Okay. All right. That was a little smidget of some lyrics. All right. You could have gave me more. Could have gave me more. That's okay. Now, wait a minute. You said you got some kids, right? Your 4 kids.
I have 4 kids, and I have 3 grandchildren. I have a daughter, 32. I have a son, 27. I have a son, 26. And I have a daughter, 24. I have a granddaughter that is 5. I have a grandson that is 6. And I have a grandson that will be a year old in September.
You better come on rapping, Grandma. Come on.
Okay.
Okay, so I got another question for you. So, yeah, so I see you reading and social network and all, and I was just curious, who is your favorite member? Huh? Say, huh?
My throat.
Your throat, huh?
My
Because
throat.
you got so many to choose from. You know what I mean?
My throat. My throat.
It's Ebony and Tina and Sam and Rena and me and Monique and Stacy and Bayin. It's so many of us. Like, so who your
So
favorite?
I could tell you which one is my favorite kid.
I'm sorry, that's not what
Yeah,
I asked you.
yeah. My
Okay.
I have a son
Uh-uh.
named
No, no,
uh
no, no.
my
We're not gonna do that. Listen, no. John, so okay, let's do this. If you not gonna tell me who your favorite member is, you gotta give somebody something. I just feel like
I was gonna tell you my favorite
let's
child's name is Herman.
no, 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 You gotta give somebody a book now, because I just feel like you should. If you're not gonna tell the world that I'm your favorite ICU
Right.
reading
So
member.
let's go ahead and give away a book. And I know
Oh, okay.
my kids are
Okay.
like, my kids are like,
Somebody
who's Herman? Because we
listen,
don't.
somebody put your hand up so we can give a book away. Somebody who has not read all of the books in the book series, if you need one, go ahead and just put in there which one you need. If you need Emancipating James, or if you need the newest release, Anthony Unshackled, say Anthony, say whichever book you need. Whoever my moderator see in there first, that's who gonna get it. Yep. So we got some moderators in there. They checking for stuff. So be sure to put your information in there for them so they can jot it down. Thank you to my moderators, and thank you to my best friend for being on here too. She on here. She didn't think I saw her, but I saw her. Hey, Leisha girl. So without further ado, Joan, I guess we could probably go ahead and start talking about some books, huh?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
ready.
So we are going to start off with the very first book, my favorite, Black. Oh, the man that makes my heart palpitate, girl. Okay, so I have a couple of questions that I prepared so that we could have a good conversation about it. But before we do that, if you wouldn't mind just giving some background to the creation of Black and the synopsis of the book.
So the background on it was I was attempting to write a historical fiction. Um, and I consider myself a contemporary writer, not a historical writer. But I do like historical fiction, and I wanted to try my hand at it. And so I started off with, as I said, with the title being Generations, and later changed it to Black. I felt that was more to the point. So the story is about a man who is an abolitionist and the fictional son of Nat Turner. And it was an opportunity to break away from the thought process that historical fiction is a white genre.
Mm,
So it was, and I was really only attempting to tell one story. And
okay.
it branched out.
Mm-hmm. It was too much goodness for that to just be one book. Oh, Black and all his brothers and all they women and all they babies, and yes. So I'm so glad that you decided to make this a series, ma'am.
Thank you.
So one of the questions I want to ask, there is so much about this book that is entertaining but also very difficult for us as the reader to just put ourselves in. The idea of being enslaved just in general is always difficult.
Mhm.
What was one of the hardest scenes for you to write in this book?
Um, I would have to say I've gone over this thought because I've been asked it so many times, and there are probably several scenes I can pick, and oftentimes I switch based on the thought and the climate of the conversation I'm having. But I have to say that it would be the opening scene. It's that scene that you're saying to yourself, I'm going to write something different, not what's expected.
Mm. The
I'm
opening
going
scene.
to I'm going to write something that is about those slaves or those people who said this is the last bit of damn cotton I'm gonna pick. So I think it was just to even get started.
Okay, that's awesome. The first scene, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm almost sure you're talking about when Nat Turner, real character, real
Yeah,
person,
right,
was hung and killed, and that same evening, his fictional son, Nat Turner, was born.
right.
Um, yeah, that was dope. That that right there, it set the tone, and then from then on out, the book just like took off and kept me interested. And I can
Mm-hmm.
remember being about 40% into the book and telling my book club, like, oh yeah, y'all gonna have to read this. This it right here. And they was so mad at me. And I'm like, they'll forgive me later. I know that they will. And they did, because you know that they love you.
Yeah, I love them
Okay.
too. Yeah.
Now, one thing that I had a love-hate relationship with the book was them baths. Because you know, we have talked about them baths. I said, oh, these is the most bath taking this ex-slaves I didn't ever read about in my whole entire life. They love a bath, Lord. They love a bath. Oh my goodness. And it was prominent throughout the book. It's actually pretty prominent through the series.
Yes.
So is it relevant in some type of way that they
It's
have these
relevant for
baths all the time?
it's relevant for several reasons.
Okay.
One, that's what people do. They clean themselves every day, right? And two,
Okay.
go ahead, go ahead.
I, I mean, I just figure, I mean, they slaves, and I didn't think that they took baths. I'm sorry.
And you know what? That is the other piece to that is that they were slaves and their labor was harnessed to make someone else rich, to make the slave master rich. And so it did not make sense to tell a story where you have all these black people gathering with all of these different talents and skills, and they still live in a situation that promotes lack. So the goal was to show you black people that had broke away from slavery and in turn were now benefiting from their own labor and living high on the hog on their own labor. And I thought that was important. And so I offered a story where the people weren't needing for anything because the
Mhm.
people had the skill to do that.
I get it now. Okay. I get it now. You know what I was also thinking about with this book,
Mm-hmm.
and actually as we continue on through the series, how it was a quote unquote a slave book,
Mm-hmm.
but there were not that many scenes on plantations. There were not that many scenes where you actually had slaves picking cotton and everything. There wasn't a lot of scenes like that. Like none of the very prominent scenes from any of the books involved that, for me at least.
Right.
Like most of it just happened away. It was almost like the book was during slave time, but it just did not center around slavery, if that
Right.
makes sense.
It does. Because
Okay.
the goal for me as an author was to tell a story where slavery was the backdrop and not the main focus because I wanted you to focus on the people. The
Okay.
same way that you and I are sitting here attempting to talk about books and invite other people to talk about books, we're still living in a time of adversity. Black men are being killed on the side of the road
Yeah.
and we are managing to still do our daily things. And so it was important that this story was not about slavery, but about the people who were living with it and deciding what they were going to do to control their own fates.
Hmm. And I know we have a comment in the comment section. They're like, "Oh, I didn't really even think this was about slaves. I just thought it was during that time frame." And you right. That's
Right.
essentially what it was. It was during that time, but our main characters were very much so not slaves. And if they were, it was for like 2 hot seconds in a book. And then from there, they was free, taking all the baths.
Right.
Okay?
I love it.
All of the baths. So we did set aside some time that we can get some questions from our viewers. So if you have any questions specific for Joan Vassar and book number 1, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. There is a slight delay in us seeing some of that information, so still go ahead and put that in there. I'm going to be reviewing some of the comments just to make sure that if there's anything we need to highlight, that we can make sure that we do so, because we got a whole bunch of comments in here. I'm so glad that you are chiming in to talk with us. Somebody said that Black will change your reading life. Listen, yes, T Mac 1963, you ain't telling no lies. Okay? Change your whole life. You hear me? She ain't lying.
Wonderful.
Y'all better listen. Don't take it from me. T Mac 1963 said it.
Right. I see.
So going in. Listen, let's see what else we got. We do have some people who haven't read the books yet. That is still okay because you got time.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get you a book. Hopefully, you was one of the people that won one, so you can start off because it's dope. I'm trying to tell you. I see Talia in here, Miss Cotton. Hey, girl, how you doing? Hey, Stacey Robinson. Hi. I think I saw my mama. I think my mama out here, she don't do YouTube and all that stuff, but I think she came to support her baby. Hi, mama. If y'all see Cynthia Walker name in here, boom, there it is. That's my mama, y'all. That's Scent Dog. Hey, boo. Miss Barbara Williams. She said she reading the books and she reviewing. And while we waiting for these comments to come in, let me talk about that for a second. I'm glad that Miss Barbara said that. Readers, we need you to review the books after you read them. Oh, amen. 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 It's Sunday, so amen. Amen. Okay. Review the book after you read it because it is extremely beneficial for the authors when not only they have those book sales, but they have those reviews coming in. Joan kind of touched on this with me privately as we were just kind of having some conversation. But if you want to tap into that for a quick moment, this will probably be a good time.
A lot of people always ask me, when will the book be a movie? But no one will consider that if they don't see reviews.
Well, okay. See there, I got down to the bottom and it said, "Is there?" Someone asked, "Is there going to be a book 5?"
Oh, I'm gonna need you to read. I don't want to spoil it for you.
I was gonna see what you was gonna say.
Yeah.
Keep on listening and keep on reading, and I think you're gonna get your answer. Listen, we just talked about these baths. Miss Bayinda didn't tap this. She said, "Can't have sex without no baths." Yes, ma'am, you about right. So we also have some that's saying movie talk yet, and like we were just mentioning, like those reviews are so important. Making sure that books stay on the right people's radar is important for the authors being able to go and pitch those books for the big screen. So we want to make sure that we encourage you guys to make sure that you do that for them. Let's see. Oh, T Mac is Terry Douglas. She's saying hello to you.
Hey Terry. I think Miss Terry bought book 3 first and read them backwards. I think so. And the next thing you know, she started telling everybody in Florida. I think that's wonderful.
Oh, Christina Reed. She says she is your #1 fan and she is showing support. Hey there, Miss Christina Reed.
Hey, Christina. And you know what? When no one knew who I was at the book conference, she would come in every year and say hello to me and buy whatever book I had written. and no one else knew who I was. And she came to me one day I was cashiering, and she said, "You're Joan Vassar, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "I knew I recognized you. You got a new book?" I said, "She is so sweet."
Oh, look, that's your look. She said she your number one fan. There's someone else that's asking, is there anywhere else that people should review your book outside of Amazon?
Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Goodread, wherever you can, because it's just getting the word out. That's always important.
Okay. Yeah, we actually had a couple of those questions in there. So it looks like we may be good on our questions. So I've got a few questions for our watchers out there. So here's an opportunity for you guys to win a little something. So let's see here. There we go. So everybody get your fingers ready, because the first person that comes in with the correct answer to this next question will win an e-read compliments of the Joan Vassar book of your choice. Now, along with the Black series, let me just say a little something right here. She also is the author of another amazing book called Unfortunately Francine. So if you are one of those people who have read all of the book series, kudos to you. But if you don't have Unfortunately Francine, Joan did tell me that it's okay for you guys to request that one. Okay, boom. So you guys ready for this question? Hopefully you are. Let's see. First person that can tell me what year Black was born will be our winner. So you guys, you get in there and you put our answer in. First person. Let's see. We got somebody that said, unfortunately, Francine is their favorite. Then we also had another question that came in because she said that the characters are like their family now at this point, and they're trying to figure out um how did you make them come alive? Like how did this all come about?
Well, you know what? There is actually an answer to that question, and I think I figured it out as a writer. I hope that as I move forward in my writing and as you follow me through different books, you can see that I'm attempting to hone my craft. The way to make the characters come to life, the way to get them to be relatable, is not the big scenes. It's the mundane. It's the detail. It's the person only drinks out of a blue mug. It is the person gets up, and in one of the books, James actually went outside and took a piss upside the tree. These are all things that are real. It
Yeah,
sounds crazy, but these are the things that make the characters not flat because they're doing what you do.
yeah, yeah. You
And
are
I hope
absolutely right.
yeah, those are the things. The devil is in the detail. And so when you and in bringing the characters to life and not making them flat, it's that moment when the character scratches their head or rubs their nose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you can picture it. It's movie
Yes.
worthy. Uh-huh.
Yes.
And we did get our first winner. So it looks like, let me see here. Let me get back up here. It looks like Miss Kashima O'Reilly.
Ah, good
She is
stuff.
our winner. So yes, he was born 1831 November. Look, she had the month and everything. Come on
Yes.
in, Miss Kashiba. I guess you a fan, huh? You are our winner, ma'am. So be sure to add your email address that you want your book to be sent to. Make sure you let us know which one you want as well. We've got another opportunity though for you guys in book one. This is gonna be our last one for book one. So the first person that can answer this one, you guys too will receive a book. So how did Smitty meet his untimely demise? Who can tell me that? And if anybody has watched my review of this book, they know that that was a very important moment in the book. And I talked about that in great detail. Because that's Smitty. That old snitching Smitty. I hate his name. Okay, I can't stand nobody named Smitty. And how your real name Smitty? Your last name's supposed to be Smith, but your real name is Smitty. You trash. You was just born to be trash with a name like Smitty. Smitty. Oh, I can't stand it. Okay. So y'all make sure that if you know how Smitty died, that y'all go on ahead and y'all put that comment down in there. Again, there's a bit of a delay on my end, so I'm not going to sit and make y'all wait for me to see y'all comments. So in the meantime, I think it would be a great time for us to go ahead and make sure that if you have any questions that you get them in there for us. Okay, I didn't see them come in. Wait, first of all, why y'all know what? I know she's trying to be funny. She here talking about some. I said how he meet his untimely demise. Mr. Beta Ray Bill. He gonna say COVID-19. You know what, sir? Quit playing with us. Quit playing with us on tonight, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that. We're waiting for the answer, but in the meantime, we're not going to hold you guys up. We are going to head on over to some conversation about book number 2. And that one is Albert the Uncaged Mind. So, if you would not mind, Joan, would you give us just a small little recap on how things transitioned into book number 2?
So we transition into book number 2, and to give you a little trivia about book 1, um, the uh, the year Black was born it's the exact day that Nat Turner died, and that was supposed to be historical to anchor the story. So that was a bit of trivia. Um, so book 2 is about his brother, and brother in the sense that they were raised by the same wet nurse, which was Big Mama, right?
Okay.
And he decides that he needs to try to get some separate space and figure out um, about his feelings for Sunday, along with loving his brother and trying to figure out what to do. And so he ventures back into Beacon Hill, which is a place up by Boston, and he he ends up being captured while following this woman. And so the book takes off from there with him being sold it back into slavery, him and the young lady.
Yeah. Um Now Albert, he wasn't my favorite person. Okay. And let me tell you why Albert weren't my favorite. Now see, you just out here and you hinted on this. You just out here all crushing on your brother's woman. You're Albert just nah, I wasn't feeling it. Like, no, no, thank you, Albert. No, thank you. And then he came off like he was the scary looking one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't need no scary looking man. I want a man that can eventually scare somebody, but I don't want you to just be scary looking all the time. You know
All
what
the
I'm
time.
saying?
Right.
No. Somebody was like, they could tell I didn't like Albert, probably from watching my video. I was like, I don't like him. I I don't like him. You know what I mean? And low key, his love interest didn't either at first. She
Right.
ain't like him. She had a okay. You know what? I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you talk about some more of this book because I have my views
Okay.
on all of this male testosterone that was just like circulating in the book, and I was just like, Albert, dude, you need to calm your tail down. You over here on this cane and everything, trying to act like you still got it like you used to. Hold up, homie. Hold up. Okay, but I digress. I'm gonna get back to my questions, okay?
Okay.
Because I'm prepared.
Okay.
So, can you please explain the significance of the uncaged mind in the title of the book?
I think that the significance for me, and I was hoping to convey that to the readers as well, is that he had to step outside of being a slave. It wasn't enough to be free. And I think in some essence, that was the case for all of them. Not enough to just be free, that you have to maintain that freedom along with your manhood. For Elbert, the manhood issue was a constant fight because he was captured and sold back into slavery with the woman that he was interested in. And she saw that. And so that is the gist of the story, him trying to figure out how to be the man he feels he's supposed to be.
You make him sound like a good character. Like I still want to dislike him so much, but I guess I get it. Maybe a little bit, but he was. This leads to the next question for me: the possession thing. Like these men are so possessive. Like when he was just so ready to take, what was it, Anna? Is it
Right.
his woman is Anna? He just want to snatch Anna right on up. Like, can she have some say in this? Lay here, you mine. Come on. What? Who you talking to?
Right,
Who are you
right.
talking to? Isn't it? Okay. And in this, she had a whole man. Okay. So that's part of the reason why she didn't want you in the first place. She had a man. Okay. You then went back to the town with her. Now her man then showed up and y'all punked him. Poor Henry. Just punked the hell out of Henry. You know what I'm saying? All these grown men standing around him, he all trolloping up. Hey, I'm so glad you're alive. Glad to see you. Glad you're not a slave. Let's be together, maybe. But he looking around at these old scary ass men, and then Elbert talk about stuff. Oh, he woke my woman. I'ma kill him. Excuse you, sir.
Right.
This was not your woman. See, this is why. That's why I'm like,
right. When you say it like that, right?
You're doing too much. Why they gotta be so possessive?
Well, one of the things I thought was important is that I didn't really see it as possessive, but I think that it was important to explain this part. We're coming from a time where Black women are slaves, Black men are slaves, and Black men don't have hold of their masculinity, of their women, or their children. Okay. So for a man that is Black who has decided he is not going to pick cotton, unfortunately for a man who is Black and has to get pulled over on the side of the road, because we can make that synonymous, right? Here in this time, that he is attempting to flex the same masculinity and manhood that is that belongs to men that are not of color. And so what appears to be possessive is his wanting to be responsible for the woman, for saying your safety matters and my masculinity is enough. Because what readers find in following Elbert through his story is that Elbert felt that was all he had to offer, was his manhood. And if that was taken, what could he offer his wife?
Joan, you have a way of just making it all make sense. You know, it makes sense, I guess.
Because when we talk about Black women being slaves. We don't talk about the men being slaves or enslaved, and them having to stand by and watch their women and children be abused. What Black is offering is what white men get. White men get an opportunity to keep their dicks, and Black says, if you hang with me, you can keep your dick.
Yes, because I want my man to have his dick.
Right.
Yeah.
In this term, it's his masculinity. It is all the things that makes him the head of the household. Mm-hmm. And that is what Elbert is offering her. Yeah.
I get it. You're right. I was just going to, one of the next questions I was going to ask was about the takeaway from this particular book. And I'm feeling like you pretty much touched on that. But But yeah, the main takeaway from this book is what you would say.
I think the main takeaway from this book and book one is that Black represents Black excellence because it is an old thing, not a new thing. And Elbert represents Black masculinity, which has been constantly under attack from when Black men stepped on this continent. It is still under attack today.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so what you're seeing is what Elbert is dealing with is metaphorically what Black men don't tell you because they don't want you to worry, right? And what they deal with today, a constant test of their masculinity.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious because I think that with fictional reads, just in general, women tend to dominate as readers. But I'm sure you have to have some male readers that like look at this and be like, oh, this is dope. Like I think all Black men should be in love with this series because you make them so perfectly flawed.
Right.
Like they're not perfect men. They are flawed, but they are just they are perfect men.
Well, I actually interviewed Black men so as that I'm not telling a story that is not unrealistic to what it is they think. And I do have male readers, and believe it or not, I have had male readers that they call themselves fangirls for me. And there was a guy that worked with me at my job, and Andre has to be every bit of about 6'2", 6'3". And in book 2, you know that scene where Simon comes to the fort the first time, and Black steps down the stairs and he decides, I'm going to stand all the way back because I'm not even going to bend my neck to look up at him. And one day I was walking down the aisle at work, and I was getting ready to go ask a question, and Andre was staring at me, and jokingly I said, what are you looking at? He said, let me step back so I don't have to bend my neck to look up at you. And I just had to laugh because I'm 5'5", he's 6'3". But he's actually quoting stuff from the book. I think that has been a wonderful experience. I have a man that goes to Madu bookstore, and the minute he hears I have a book out, he goes right to the store to buy it. And men don't contact me, but when they run into me, they never talk about the sex scenes. They only talk about how great the men. Only my women readers talk about the sex scenes. My male readers talk about the idea of that the man is a hero. The Black man in this book is a hero.
That's dope. I still want you to ask one of them the next time that they come up and they want to talk about the male hero and everything. I just want you to ask them something about the sex scene. So, how did you like the sex scene? Just ask them, see what they say. You know what I mean?
They never say. I tell you what, they talk to me and they are wonderful about the series. And I think when I really realized that the book was starting to resonate with men, I had gone into the mall probably about a year ago, and I was about to buy a smoothie. And the man online in front of me turned around and said, oh shit, you Joan Vassar. And I thought to myself, really? And I started laughing. I said, dude, that never happens to me. He said, oh yeah, I Googled you. I just finished Black this morning. So that was a huge marker for me to have a male reader recognize me in the street.
You famous, girl. You is famous. And make sure next time when you see him in the mall, you ask them, did you review it though?
Let me tell you what he did. After he finished the book, he took the book back to the bookstore and donated it because he said, after I read a book, I very rarely read it again. And this is not a book that can sit downstairs in the basement and collect dust. I would like for someone else to read it, and I don't want you to sell it. I want you to give it to someone that comes in the store looking for something good. And she did.
Wow.
I thought that was a compliment.
Absolutely it is. We actually have one of your male readers here today. The one that was talking about he died from COVID. No, good and doggone well. Somebody didn't die from no COVID. But Mr.
Right.
Beta Ray Bill, he's one of your male readers, and he is here. And he just wanted to let you know that he loves the series. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Somebody said I was funny. Thank you, girl. So we do have a few questions for the readers at this point. Again, I always want to say because of the delay, I'm going to get those questions out to you guys. And while you all are getting your answers in, I'm going to sift through some of these comments because I can see y'all been talking. Y'all been doing a lot of chatting over here. So I got to go back through and see what y'all talking about and see if y'all had some questions for Miss Joan Vassar. But I think that moving forward, the best way for me to maybe do this is to ask my questions to you guys first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that. Yep, let's do that. So, first question, centered around book two, Elbert the Uncaged Mind. What city did Anna live when she was kidnapped? What city did Anna live when she was kidnapped? So y'all get y'all fingers together and y'all get to type in and tell me who was who. Okay. So that's question number one. And because EyeCU and Tim Telling Tales and Joan Vassar are just so nice, and we just love you guys so much that we got another question that we're going to ask about book two. So there's two opportunities to win something, people. So that second question is going to be name the woman that was part of the 18. Name the woman that was part of the 18. So we've got our two questions circulating out there. So maybe you didn't know the answer to the first one, but you know the answer to the second. So make sure that you go ahead, get your answers in there. First person to get the right answers into the chat. Our moderators are checking for those, and we will get you your prize. Okay. So in the meantime, let me sit back through here and see what y'all talking about because y'all been doing a lot of talking. I didn't say I didn't really like Albert that much, and apparently y'all liked them a lot because y'all was just, oh, Albert is yes, I love him. I want to grow up and be like Albert. I seen y'all talking. I don't. Y'all can have him. Yeah, talking about something he wants. Mr. Ray Bill, sir. Good evening. You want to be like Albert? That ain't really what you want. I don't get, but I mean, if that's what you want, fine. Go ahead, have it then. Have it. Let's see. Oh wait, Ebony asked the question. I gotta find it. Okay. Your attention to detail in writing is unlike no other that I've ever read. Can you tell us what your research and writing process is like? And that's from Ebony.
Ah. So my research is I spend days. I look at the time period that I'm going to write in. I look at the around that year, what were the significant things that were going on for the Black experience. What I do is I push all the writing aside and I just research uh, what it was like, life for Black people during this time. And then I attempt to bring that to life for you with detail, so that you can feel like you're there. So a lot of research, the Smithsonian, just different sites that I go to that just talk about Black history. Some sites you can't tell if that's true, so you have to go to other sites and just try to look up and see. Then you want to bring the detail in to put the reader in the room. When I write, I have a set of test readers that go behind me, and they're reading as I'm writing. When I finish, I then offer that to um, my editor after it's been cleaned up, then my editor goes through it, then we go back to test readers, and I strive for 3% error. So if my word count is 100,000 or 170,000, like in book 3, I'm looking for 3% error. None of my books are error free, but I attempt to just make it where, as an independent artist, it can compete.
Absolutely.
Then once I do that, I format it, and I actually pay a professional formatter. I go with a company called Demonza. After they format it, I go back to more test reading. And people are following me will look at it in the book form before it actually goes live. And we go through, and any mistakes I find, I get with the formatter and say, can you please clean these up? The word the word of, the word the is missing. And then once I get that part done, I then pick 2 more test readers that are usually from a group one of my reading groups, and
Okay.
then I once they've read it and they say, okay, it's chronological. In other words, I've seen writers put out a book and the printer or the formatter has missed chapter 3 and 4. So once we figure out all of that is fine, I go live.
Awesome. Can I just say that it shows that you put forth a lot of effort in editing, and I'm sure that us readers, I speak for us when we say that we appreciate that, because although you say you have the 3%, it may not be perfect, but it's as close as it's gonna come. So we
Right.
appreciate the hard work, effort, and money that you put towards that. So let's see some more questions. Oh, wait a minute. Now somebody went back to talking about this conversation about Henry. Talk about he not a whole man. Henry was a wimp. What was Henry supposed to do with all of these big old cock diesel dudes just standing around? Like, what he gonna do? Yeah, y'all, why y'all playing Henry like that? It's a bunch of people in here too that's talking about Poe Henry. Man, y'all so mean. Oh, I can't believe y'all. Y'all are mean. Okay, let me see who we got. Now, you guys know not only are we live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook as well. We've got our Facebook people that's chiming in. Miss Deborah Owsley. Hey there. How you
Hello.
doing? Hi, Miss Deborah. So let me get on down here. We did get our winners, you guys. We did get our winners, and I am going to scroll down in here and see who got the answers. Looks like Miss Talia was one of our winners. Yes, she got the answer to, I believe, what city was Anna living in when she was kidnapped. So the answer to that was Boston.
Right.
She was living in Boston. Okay. And then the next question that we had was name the woman that was a part of the 18. Name the woman that was a part of the 18. So although I didn't got all turned around in here, I know that our winner has been selected. And the answer to that was Morgan. So if you guys remember from the book, Morgan was the manly. Initially, she was the manly looking one, and then nobody know that she was a woman at first. And then all of a sudden, it was like, oh, hold on, she in the room with who? Oh shoot! So initially, you like, oh, they might be gay, and then it was like, oh, she an actual real woman out here in these streets.
She a
Okay,
whole
got
woman
it.
in these
She
streets.
a whole woman out here. Okay, we got it now. So that was our Morgan. So let me see if I see any more questions in here. Let's see. I think I have another one. At the start of your writing, do you write from the beginning and let the story dictate the ending, or do you write with the ending in mind?
Um, I write chronologically. I don't write a scene and then write a scene future in the book. I'm not. I can't do that. My brain doesn't work that way. So what I do is, as I write the story going forward. If I see a scene out that's going to be major, it will help me push through between scenes to unite what's going on now with then. And sometimes I don't know how it's going to end. I might know this might be close to the ending, but I attempt to entertain myself. There's nothing wrong with self entertainment.
Not, not at all. All right, Belle. Well, entertain yourself.
Okay.
Okay. However you, however you see fit to do that.
Okay.
Go ahead, then, Joan. Yeah. Okay. Before we move on to some discussion on book 3, I just want to make sure that I recap all of our trivia question answers for you guys. Our first one was the year that Black was born, which was 1831. Our next question was, how did Smitty meet his untimely demise? I may have missed that one. So Smitty was hung. Okay, Smitty was hung, and he was left up there to hang for some days just to make sure that didn't nobody get no crazy ideas. Okay. Our next question was, what city did Anna live in when she was kidnapped? Answer to that one was Boston. And then our last question that we've asked is the name of the woman that was a part of the 18, and that was Morgan. So, without further ado, we are going to go ahead and move on to what? Emancipating James. Hey, okay, now listen. It was a toss up between Black and Emancipating James for me, okay? Because this book, although quite long, because this is a big ass book,
This
but
was.
baby, Jeremiah, he set in my spirit in a way that was unnerving. Like I don't think I have ever felt this way about a character in a book ever. I don't think I have ever had the same level of disdain and adoration for somebody. Just ever. Okay. So, woo child. Okay. Let you give everybody a recap on Emancipating James, and then we're gonna ask some questions and discuss some stuff. Okay.
So, Emancipating James is a book about one of Black's brothers who is trying to figure out how to deal with being emotionally free. And he has made a mistake and shot and killed a young lady, and he is trying to figure out how to work around that. And so this book was a two-part book in that it carried two storylines, and one was for his nemesis, which was Jeremiah, and one was about him. And what I was attempting to do as a writer was have you watch their lives unfold until they collide, and make the reader be also kind of duplicitous in trying to keep Jeremiah alive. Because the reader at some point does not want Black to know that they like Jeremiah. So Jeremiah was a fun character, yeah.
Oh, I gotta breathe. Because I'm thinking about him, and I just, from the beginning of the story through it to the end, I remember being like cussing. I ain't gonna be cussing and everything because I told y'all my mama on here, so I ain't gonna be cussing that much. However, in my head and even out loud, like I was legit getting up and walking away from like my tablet. Like how dare you, Black cracker? How effing dare you? How
Right.
you gonna be this person? How you gonna act this way? You know what I'm saying? It pissed me off. And then now we getting further and further through the book, and I'm sitting here like, oh shoot, I sure hope Jeremiah show up. I'm like, what happening right now? What is this? Man, I was so pissed at you for making me like and hate him. I didn't like that. Just know that I didn't like it. Okay? Ugh. Okay, now now we're gonna move into another little topic that came up in book 3. That I was giving the book the side eye a little bit. So, what is this? 1860 3 2 or something. And you trying to tell me that they was out here having threesomes? Hmm? Huh?
I
Huh?
think
Huh? So, so they having threesomes? They sharing beds?
you don't make me get off the camera.
That's what we doing? Man, prove it. I don't believe you. I
Well,
don't
you
believe.
know what's interesting? Like, there is nothing new under the sun. People live as a threesome, open relate. I think all of the controversy that's been going on about Will and Jada, it kind of speaks to that. I think that people, not everybody does it the same, and I think that's important to recognize. Those are the things that make the world go round.
So basically, what you saying is that these entanglements ain't nothing new, huh?
No, no, being entangled is not new. I will say this to you though. The first time I had threesome explained to me, it was explained to me by a 93-year-old woman. That was the first time. And I think I've said this out on my Facebook page. And it wasn't a pornographic story. She was a Black woman who grew up with a father who had 2 women. The women lived side by side in a house, and eventually they all became one family. The woman had 9 children by her father. Her mother had 8 children, total of 17 of them, and all of the kids called both women mommy. And he took care of both women, and there was no issue.
Come
She
on,
was the first.
entanglement.
She was the first person to explain that to me, and I think I might have been 18. And I was saying to myself, this no. And then I got married, and the next thing you know, this show coming on TV talking about sister wives. I said, oh, so that is true. But
Yeah.
one of the things that's important is the threesome that's in this book that is experiencing exclusivity, right? And this is where they have decided to be devoted to each other. Like I said, everyone doesn't do it the same. And so I think what was important about this is that you're living in a time when the country is at civil war. So 620,000 people died in that war, the majority men. And so there
Yeah.
was a lot of, if something happens to me, take care of my wife and children. And during this time, there were a lot of men with more than one woman because of this. So the Civil War helped introduce threesome to this country. And the truth of the matter is, threesome happens sometimes whether you agree to it or not.
Mm.
Look at the comments. Your eyes is all over the place, huh?
Oh, wait a minute, because this is hold on. Let me show you this one right here. This is one of our Facebook chime ins. She says, Joan, how am I going to tell my husband now that we need to marry you? Wait a minute. Is that a proposition?
It's not
Oh,
my
okay.
first one. It's not my first one.
Listen, they
Hello,
done read
Christy.
they
How
done
are
read them
you?
scenes and they said, we need to see what that be like. Okay then. John said, "Hi, Christine.
Hey, Christy. How are you?
All right, y'all. Okay
Very
then,
good question.
honey." Cause that was a little hot topic. When I saw that come up in the book, I said, "Nah, oh, wait a minute. He
And I
about to
got,
go
you know
what?
what?
Come
I
on
caught
in,
a lot
Nettie."
of flack for that. I caught a lot of flack for that. There were a lot of people in my inbox asking me why would I do such a thing, and I said I didn't put it in for fluff. I put it in because it's real.
Mm.
I'm attempting to get you to live the life of these people. And what was interesting is that people expected EJ to run between Nettie and his wife consistently, no complaint. It wasn't until he actually came out and said, "This is what I want, and I'm willing to do these things to have it. I'm willing to compromise." And I caught a lot of slack because the real truth is, more truer to the time would have been, "I'm the man, I'm the owner of you and you because I'm married." Because people said, I don't understand. And I'm saying, white women didn't have the right to vote for another 80 years. What rights did they have? He could have done this a whole lot differently. What he was attempting to get was real affection. And so he endeavored to try to compromise with both women so that he could have a genuine relationship with them.
Oh, I feel like all this stuff that like brings me pause. You always come in here and have like all these logical reasons for including it, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, I guess that, guess that makes sense. Yeah, we
Well,
have
you know
one of
what
our
I'm trying to
watchers.
do?
Uh
Let
huh.
me tell you something. I also try to tell you a story that challenges you. That even though I, the reader, may not live this way, I want to try to tell other stories responsibly to get us to think about them.
Mm. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but we
I see
have
it.
a Oh, you can. Okay,
Yes, and
three.
that comment is correct.
Yeah, threesomes really shouldn't be a surprise. I guess. I guess. I don't know. I guess I was just shocked to see it in my historical fiction. Like if I was reading something that was written in 2018, I'd be like, oh, la 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 la. But yeah, it threw me. And then of course we have conversations like this with you, and it's like, oh, hey, yeah, it makes sense.
I
It
hope
makes a
to
whole lot of
enhance
sense.
my reader as I enhance myself, because sometimes I'm listen, I'm in my 30s going into my 40s before I even understood who Nat Turner is. So
Mhm.
it's an opportunity to share my blackness with other people, not just black people, because you guys can relate, but people who are not black, they're also learning with me. They're also stepping, maybe I hope, away from the stereotype.
Mm. So clearly you do a lot of researching. You
Yes,
dive deep into your stuff.
yes.
And so we do have a question from the chat asking, what was something that totally shocked you in your research?
Um, what shocked me in my research was during a slave time, especially in Florida, that newborn slave babies were used as alligator bait. And I just decided not to put that in the book. I don't think I could. There were several things that you learned that your people endured, and there were women that would have babies, be in the field, newborns. They're still picking cotton, and they turn around to do something and come back, and the baby is missing. And so that was interesting. And then later, actually seeing advertisement for soap where an alligator is actually chasing a black baby.
Mm,
So yeah, there were some things, and it's so interesting because we live in a time now where we're still talking about brutality. You know what I'm saying? And so you get you read some of these things and you're thinking to yourself, are you serious? And
mm-hmm.
so you also, as a historical fiction writer, have to decide what is relevant to the story. You can't dump everything that you're learning in the story because you've now learned it. It has to be relevant to the story. But I
Yeah.
find a lot of things that are disturbing that I don't add to the story because, again, this is not a story of atrocity per se, as it is a story about black men who are heroes.
Mm. Um, them alligators and took me out a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it took me out a little bit. So I have one final question for you before we hit the questions from the chat and our trivia. So in this book, along with it being huge, we had a lot of people. There's a
Yeah.
whole lot of people. It was a whole lot of people in this book,
Right.
ma'am. Like you see me here, like, okay, so Black was with Sunday and Albert was with Anna and Albert. Who child? It was a lot of people. Why? Why the cast so big?
I do a big cast to try to make the experience realistic, because some people that you'll see will be not people that you need to remember, but they do happen, and that's the same as in your life. I also do a big cast because it makes people pay attention.
Right, because they got to go
Yeah,
back and be like,
because you
okay,
can't
let me
read
not
and
forget
say,
this person.
yes, yes. It makes people read and go back and read, because I'm hoping that some of the stuff that I write about, that is not just for entertainment, that is an actual historical event, you'll Google. And so, large casts. The other thing is, most important, why my casts are usually big, I'm attempting to tell Black community. I'm attempting for you to experience Black community as it happens to people. So you're seeing not just this one Black guy who's in love with this Black girl. You're seeing um, this guy, his brothers, the people that his brothers might come in contact with, the people that he might come in contact with, the fact that women are gathering at his house. You're looking at Black community. You're looking at the whole village. And I'm attempting to entertain you by bringing you into Black life.
I got you. Okay, again, all the stuff that I be like, why? And then here you come telling me why, and it just all makes so much sense now. Oh, Joan, I tell ya. So it's that time again, people. Time to give out some books. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to get the trivia questions out there to you guys. But then in the meantime, I will be reviewing the chat to see what questions we still need to ask Joan about book number 3. So everybody, get your fingers ready. Now, this next question actually has 2 different answers that you can provide. So if you give us one of the 2, then you can still be our winner. Okay? So, name one of EJ's women. Name one, just one of EJ's women. Because you know he had 2 with his nasty. Okay. Okay, so name one. Then we have trivia question number 2. So just in case you guys can't remember the names because it was, such a big community of people. What? Hmm. Huh. Oh, okay. What is the name of little Otis's birth father? What is the name of little Otis's birth father? See if you guys remember that. Okay, so we've got those questions brewing and we've got our moderators checking through. So let me go on back on here and see. This is a good question from Monique. She says, after reading the entire Black series, have you ever thought of adding an ancestry tree to your book?
Oh, explaining who everyone is.
Um, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I'm
I
thinking.
have gotten that question. I have also gotten the question of not just saying who's who and who had babies together, but I've also gotten the question that in the back of the book I should list actual historical events.
Okay,
So that the
that's
reader
good.
knows that that this actually happened.
Yeah, because you intermingle a lot of real stuff with your fiction. So,
Right.
as you're going through your research, you putting stuff in the book, but I'm sure that some of it is based off true events. So,
Yeah.
let's see what else we've got here. Um, let's see.
And to
We
answer that question, I guess I may need to start considering it. Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody else did say that they thought that was a good idea. So, maybe a little something to consider. You being a historian and all. Um, there is a question here that I think I want to ask once we get through book number 4, because I think that'll be a good one to ask a little bit later on. You, wait a minute. Let's see. Um, Wait a minute. Okay, I done got to something. This is not even a question, but this is like fighting words right here. This is how you gonna be like one of the only men in here and go make me want to fight you. Talking about Jeremiah the Black Cracker. I respect him because he's brave. Reminds me of Elbert. Of course, the two people that I was just like, I don't really mess with them. Here you come talking about something you like them. I tell you, Ray Bill, I don't know about you, sir.
So let me tell you, my feeling on this is that a lot of people liked Jeremiah. And I think that it was great because he represented lost blackness. And it is a pleasure to watch him find who he is.
I know. See, that's why I was mad at you
But
when
that's
I
why
was
you
reading
wasn't
the
his friend.
book.
I know.
Because I didn't want to like him. Come on, nerve.
I know.
I just want my characters to be one dimensional. But no, here you come, having to put layers on people like they real people.
I know. That's the thing. You have, because I think that we go into a book just looking for the hero. And sometimes the villain makes a difference too. And sometimes the villain makes the hero more a hero.
Yeah. Yeah. So our friend said I went and studied John Brown after reading the books. Yeah. It was like I remember his name, and as I was reading, I was like, why does name sound familiar to me? And it was because at some point I did actually learn about him, but I had to jog my memory. So I too had to do the same thing when it came to John Brown, especially once we got to book 4, because he came back up, and I was like, I need to make sure that I know who's fictional and who's not.
John
So,
is real. Right.
So,
real. Yeah.
So folks is telling me to leave Uncle Jeremiah alone. So y'all, I guess y'all really liked him. Fine, y'all can have him. Have your little uncle, your little funky uncle. Shoot. All right, you guys. Well, I'll give you the answers to those in a little bit, but I think I want to make sure I got my winners. Let me make sure I got my winners. Yes, we got our winners. And so we want to go through and we will give you the answers to those questions. So, who was Otis's birth father? Well, it was none other than the dude I love to hate, Jeremiah the Black Cracker. Him. He the pappy. Okay? And then our next question was name one of EJ's women. So you could have said either Nettie, Black Nettie, or White Suzanne. Those are some very black and white names. Like, seriously, if I said Nettie, you know that was his black woman. If I said Suzanne, you know that was his white woman. So, boom. Either one of those answers would have worked for naming EJ's women. All righty, people. So without further ado, we are going to just shimmy right on into our last and final book for tonight. We making good time too. All right. So it is time to talk about the most recent release, Anthony Unshackled. All right, people. All right. So, Joan, if you would do the honors of giving us just a small recap of Anthony Unshackled.
So Anthony Unshackled takes place in New York City, and I thought that was fun because that's where I grew up, and it's telling a story about they're kind of in the throes of the Civil War, and the men are not doing very much traveling, and they had ran an errand for Black that caused them to, or Anthony, to kill a man who was actually related to the mayor of New York City. And it just caused Black a bunch of grief, and Black had to end up going to New York to try to settle up some of the stuff for Anthony. So that was this was a fun a read for, I mean, write for so many reasons, and read for so many reasons. And one, because what I did was look at where I grew up and then go back 100 years and try to figure out what life was like where I grew up. And so that was fun in and of itself. I learned a lot about where I grew up in New York. And it's amazing how you could do something every day and not realize the history of
Mm, interesting. Okay, so I've got my questions. So, in describing what this book was about, we have Anthony, who essentially was the person that kind of set things into motion,
it.
but in he just didn't seem super relevant in the greater scheme of things.
Right.
And so, would you care to explain Anthony's relevance or lack thereof as far as him being in a book and the book actually being named after him in a way?
So if you look at the cover of the book, Anthony's name is actually little. And the word unshackled is big. Right?
Okay.
So Anthony is the cause of the problem that pushes the men forward through this situation. But more importantly, it was an opportunity to show older men dealing with younger men that may need help trying to cross that threshold into manhood. And I think what is perfect about the character Black is that he manages to leave the men that he's dealing with better. He is creating leaders. And so Anthony is not actually dispensable, but he is there to show the camaraderie between the men.
Okay. I hear you. Because I was wondering, Anthony was forgettable too. I mean, granted, he was pretty possessive, but I'm just saying, I was like, so he just gonna go get him some yam at the pussy parlor and just be relevant? Like, oh, okay.
Well, you know what? He's also flexing his ability to say, I've done this thing with you and I'm responsible for you.
Back to that possession that,
Right.
I haven't always been a huge fan of in the book, but I get it. I really do.
Right.
I do understand that we're talking about a whole different time frame. This is not 2020. This is 1860. And yes, I have to govern my mindset accordingly. So, yes, but I would like to say this. At any point in time, if you can, be selling meow and you can't cook and still get a man to make you marry him, it's hope for all of us, ladies. just know that, okay? I just wanted to say that, okay? Cause I ain't did neither one of them. I mean, I cook sometimes, I ain't never sold no stuff before, but ain't nobody making me marry them. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Sheesh. Okay. Anywho. That was just a sidebar. That was a sidebar. Okay. So, as we moved on in the book, we got to maybe like halfway through this book, and of course, we had the moment where things just kind of they kind of stopped in a way because sickness took over.
Right.
And so my question is, well, did they catch the Rona? They get Rona? Did they have
Well,
Rona back in 1861? If they ain't had a Rona, then what the hell was wrong with them?
well, they had, in those times, people got sick quite often. Manhattan is only 22 miles long. It had horse manure in the street, open sewage, those things. And so dysentery, the flu, all of these things happen. And so this wouldn't have been a story without telling you how people's condition, how they live, could cause them to be sick. And so I wrote this book and finished it, and we ended up in a pandemic, and none of that had nothing to do with what was going on. And I actually considered not putting this book out because of that.
Yeah, I can see that.
When we went into the pandemic, I actually considered not putting this book out.
Yeah. I was reading this here. Oh, she must have just finished this. Like, she must have did this like 2 weeks ago. Because, when that book dropped, we was in the midst of things. Like, folks was not going to work. Folks was getting $1,200 stimulus checks. And, you know what I'm saying? So it was still very, very new.
Right.
So I was surprised to see that in the book. And then, of course, hearing you say that you had finished the book already, just the timing of all of that's wild.
And I'm gonna tell you, it depressed me a little bit, and I actually thought that readers would not enjoy it because they would think that this was about that time, and this was purely about this time. It was purely coincidental, and I, I actually really I tussled with that, and I actually considered taking the second half of the book and rewriting that whole piece and delaying the release of it.
I can see where you would have considered that. So how did you end up changing your mind? Did somebody convince you, or was it just yourself?
A couple of people said to me it will be even more relatable because of how we're living. And people will look back at that time and say, if this wasn't going on, they just didn't know because it was a primitive time. But a lot of people don't realize the 1800s is not exactly olden times. The car was made there, the telephone was made there, the camera was made there. A lot of the things that we use today were made in the 1800s. And so this was important. I mean, today we 2020 and their only advice is wash your hands.
Right. And wear your mask.
Right.
Public service announcement. Wear your mask and wash your hands and social distance. Social distance, people. Move. Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So back to the book. Can I just say this? I don't like Callie. Okay? I don't like Callie. And I feel like as soon as I say this, everybody gonna jump in here and talk about how much they love Callie. Because I feel like the people just love to oppose me specifically. However, I didn't like Callie. And so my question to you is, can you kill her?
I cannot kill Callie right now because the book is over. And I don't know what will happen in book 5. I can tell you that it is important for readers to recognize that Callie's intelligence rivals Black's on purpose.
So basically, you just confirmed that there is a book 5, right? I just want to make sure that everybody heard that because we know that all of the watchers have not read all the books.
Those are alternative facts.
So you heard it here first. Probably not really, but still, you heard it here. There will be a book 5. And I have a sneaky suspicion that I know what the name of that book is. I ought to give myself a prize. I know the answer. She'll make it a trivia question. You know what? I think I will. Y'all go ahead. I feel like we could give out another book. Who want to answer the question, huh? What's going to be the name of book 5, which we have now confirmed there will be? Put it in the comment section. Put it in the comment section. But yes, back to Callie. While people are putting that in there. Why? Okay, let me tell you why I don't like her. Okay, so then you can tell me, you can come back and tell me why you agree that you should kill her. So I just feel like she a little too comfortable with Sunday and my man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sharing Black with Sunday, you know, and I'm cool with that. She's in the book and I'm out here in the real world. And we have him. He our man.
Right.
But here come Callie thinking she about to step in
doing
and have an entanglement with my man.
Right,
and I'm not here for that. I'm not here for it.
An entanglement, right.
I don't want that. She wants an entanglement with my man and man, and I'm not feeling it. And so I just think that you should kill her. Okay? Because I mean, we got our fair share of threesomes. Okay,
right.
We got that with because I feel like you trying to give us, you know, threesome teas with the whole Black Callie and Sunday thing. You know what I'm saying? Because we already done seen Callie and Sunday in the bed together. You know, even though it wasn't no funny business going on and nothing, but I feel like you did that on purpose, and I don't like it.
Jeremiah didn't like it either.
Hell no. And then you got old funky ass Black. He all y'all bet Black.
But you know, Black and Sunday really are in the threesome because she understands that the fourth is his other woman.
Okay, well, we can share it with the 4. I'm talking about Callie specifically. But I'm going to tell you what. If you don't kill Callie, you at least got to let Camille come back so that she can shake shit up a bit. You know what I'm saying? Let her come back.
You just doing them all.
What?
I love it.
I miss Camille. I love Camille. We didn't talk about Camille because most of the stuff that was popping off with Camille was back in book 1. We didn't say too much about Camille. But let me say this. I love me some Camille. Listen, that was a sad chick. Not really even a sad chick, but another woman that had an entanglement and knew her place. Okay? If Stacy is watching, she is so mad right now because she is like hating the word entanglement. All this is so I keep doing that and I think of her instantly when I say it. But yeah, she knew how to handle an entanglement. Okay, sis was like, oh well, he ain't really my man. He got a woman. I feel some type of way about it. But meanwhile, somebody trying to kill you, bruh. So what you gonna do? Yes, Camille, come through. She needs to come to 2020 and teach a class to these young hoes because they just don't know how to act. Child. Okay. My bad. I just went all the way off on a tangent. I'm so sorry, y'all. I apologize. We talking about the book, ain't we?
Well,
bring it back, Sam.
About the entanglement.
Yeah, let me bring it back because yeah, this is what conversation about Callie do. She just had me all discombobulated. I don't like that hoe. Yeah, I'm just saying. Okay, so I'm gonna check in these chats for some of the questions, but before I do, because those are all of my questions for real. Right. I'm gonna get some trivia questions in here for you guys. Now these are the last of the trivia questions, so these will be the last opportunities for you guys to to win something. Okay, so get ready, get ready, get ready. Um, Question. What was given to Jeremiah to save his life? What was given to Jeremiah to save his life? That is question number one. Our next trivia question is how many orphans, this is a hard one. I know. How many orphans were rescued from the orphanage by Black and his men? How many? How many orphans were rescued from the orphanage by Black and his men? Okay, so boom. Tis a question. Now I do recognize that these questions are maybe a little difficult. So I'm going to throw a bonus question in there for you guys. So maybe if you didn't know one of the others, then maybe you'll know this one. Okay. So this is our last and final trivia question, people. So if you haven't won anything, here's your last opportunity. What was the name of the children at the orphanage's donkey? What was the kid's donkey name? Kid's donkey name. I like how that sounds. Donkey name. I feel like I could put that to a beat. Donkey name. Get a donkey. Okay, sorry. It must be getting late, clearly, because yeah. So we got those questions in, and while you guys are answering, I will be checking back to see what questions we have to ask. Now, there was a question that was posed, asking of all of your men that we have been presented with in the Black series, who's your favorite, Joan?
I kind of love them all. So, but I would have to say this is the Black series. And I think what makes Black so extraordinary is his ability to think about everything clearly.
Wait, who?
Black.
So you want my man?
I'm sorry. You know what? The problem is that he is you. And let me first say that you sound like my mother, because when I told my mother that I've written a part of Sunday for myself, my mother said, "You?" I'm like, I wrote the book. And so I said, and besides, Sunday is young and I'm closer to her age than you are. And my mother said, it's not a problem. In the movie, they could just pan the camera up. And nobody can tell I'm in my 60s. I had to laugh. Black is my favorite. Black is my favorite character.
Well, I tell you one thing, I'd rather share him with you than with Callie.
Oh my God.
I don't like her. I don't like her. Okay, let me see what else we talking about over here in these comment sections. Some people don't want Callie to die. I guess. I mean, she the author. She gonna do what she want to do. I feel like y'all feel like I don't like nobody. I do. I told y'all I loved me some Camille. I low key like Lil Henry. I like little. I like little Henry. Why I gotta call him little? That's a shame because of how he got treated. I minimize that man. This is sad. This is sad. See, you know what? Tina agrees with me. The chemistry between Callie and Black, she hated it. No, ho, don't be pushing up on our man. Yes. She, sure did. She don't like Callie. She ain't effing with Callie neither.
What? I'm shocked at Tina. But then again, you got to remember that Tina almost threw me out when the book got presented. So maybe.
Yeah, she
wasn't my friend for like a whole maybe chapter. Then she was my friend. So maybe.
Yeah, I was a little scared that we was gonna get I was scared we was gonna get a threesome. I was like, I don't want another one. No, not with her. And then she always trying to act like she better than somebody. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna show up to where these men is sick at. You know what I'm saying? Possibly bringing all her little nasty disease and stuff like that. I ain't leaving. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't about to eat. How if you don't eat some bread and drink some water and quit playing with me? Ugh.
I love it.
Ugh. Heifer. I ain't like her.
My friend now.
She your friend. She didn't like Callie, but I don't think she really wanted her to die either. I'm probably the only one that wanted her to die. But Christy said book 5 equals kill Callie. Yes, honey. Yep. Hello. We gotta start a petition or something, because
oh my God.
This has to happen. This has to happen. Yeah. So I'm looking through folks out here trying to give her compliments and stuff. We ain't talking about Callie no more. I'm not about to get that heifer no more of my energy. No. So we have our answers in, I do believe. And so let's go through the answers here. What was given to Jeremiah to save his life? And the answer to that question is titty milk. And some more proper individuals may say breast milk.
Right.
I say titty milk. Okay. So that is the answer to that question. That is what was given to Jeremiah to save his life from who else? Callie. Okay. Our next question was how many orphans were rescued from the orphanage by Black and his men? And yeah. Did y'all know how many it was? It was 80 people. 80 orphans. The crew came through and saved 80 babies.
Wow.
Come on, crew. All right. Yeah. All right. Okay. And then lastly, what was the name of the children's donkey at the orphanage? I need y'all to get this right. I really do. I need y'all to get this right. Do y'all know who it is? I hope y'all do. I don't know if I saw the answers in here, but my moderators did. The answer to this question was Joan. Our author, Joan, was the donkey. Joan was the jackass. No.
Right. When I saw myself barreling into a book 5, I said, oh, shit, I'm an ass. And then that's where the character, the donkey, came up, and I named the donkey after myself. I sure did. And I thought the readers would find that funny. Mm-hmm.
Yes, so those are all of our trivia questions. Those are all of the questions that I have for you, Joan. I am so glad that you came through to just talk with little old me so that I could, say what I had to say and share my feelings and see what some other folks had to say. Thank you.
You know what? Thank you for having me. Really, this was a great honor, and it's so funny because when I come out with a book, I always think, what are my readers going to think about this? I hope they enjoy it, and just the love and the embracing of the work. And EyeCU is phenomenal. This is phenomenal. This stage, I absolutely. I love it. And I see you got his name up here, but I'm not studying him, right?
I felt like this was an important person for me to highlight just for you. Would you like to tell us who this is?
This is my ex-husband. This is my buddy. This is my ex-husband and my buddy. This is my buddy.
You better come through and support.
And he's always contacted me to find out what my word count is. He's very supportive. That's my best friend still. Yeah.
All right then, man. So thank you for coming through, sir. and checking on your ex-wife, but your with your current friend. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. So I just have a couple final little words for you, Joan. I am just super excited about everything that you are endeavoring on. I know that outside of here, we have talked about the Audible book that's
Yeah.
going to be coming and the phenomenal voice actor that you have that's going to be doing that for you. I'm excited about that for the next chapter. Well, not next chapter, but the next novel in the Fortunately Francine series. I'm
Yeah.
excited about that for you. Just from when we first met to now, how much just evolution has transpired. I'm excited for you, and I'm glad that you were the first person I got to do this with because it feels so comfortable. And because I believe in you and your work so much, this is just so easy for me. So again, I say thank you. And to the watchers out there, I know that you all love Joan so much. So hopefully you've had a chance to tell her through the chat, through the live. We'll be able to, watch back through all of this stuff and everything. And then lastly, just share my page, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Make sure that you join EyeCU Reading and Social Network. We have a page where you can just come through, follow all the stuff that we're talking about. That's where we're live at right now. And then, of course, we have the EyeCU Reading and Chatting group. Now, that one is a little bit more intense. That's where we have our Freestyle Fridays and the authors come in and they just go off the top of their dome and write stories. And we have chat conversations about different things that relate to authors and readers and stuff like that. So we just want to encourage everybody to be our friend. Eh? And
That's good
then
stuff.
and then Joan, did you have any final words for the people?
Yes, I want you to look forward to Jacoby Diem. He is going to be reading the Black series, and book one should be up by the end of September, early October. And Black will be up on Audible, and you will get to hear Black's voice. And that is going to be an exciting time for all of us.
Awesome. All righty. Well, that concludes the first ever Read What Happens Live here on Town Telling Tales. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. I appreciate it so much. It's still early, y'all. The light is still outside.
That's
So
right.
y'all go out and y'all do something. Eat some ice cream or have a drink or something. But make sure that you put your mask on when you're not drinking and eating. And you wash your hands and you social distance. Okay, y'all going out there and have an entanglement. All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye bye.